What up, guys?
What's happening, everyone? We are not doing a whiskey review in this video. We're actually going to be talking about the value of independent bottlers, specifically in Scotch whiskey.
Yes.
One of the most frequent questions that we get asked, whether it's email or comments, is, hey, you guys are reviewing these ultra expensive, rare, old whiskeys. What do you recommend from current bottlings that are a little bit more affordable? It's obviously a very, very good question, and it becomes a tricky thing to answer because though there are some good options out there, often the best options of current bottlings tend to be either bottles that are just a one-off, few hundred bottles, or really difficult to acquire. And then there's the other side of independent bottlers. There's constantly lots and lots of independent bottlers releasing really good whiskeys, and often in limited batches and single casks, vintage single casks, sometimes in bigger batches, sometimes in really small batches, but there's a lot of variety out there. And it's really hard to recommend that because usually when they're good, they sell out really quick. So that becomes very difficult to say, hey, go buy this bottle that was released 6 months ago. Well, it probably got sold out right away. So we're just going to give you some examples of things you can look out for, and just to maybe open up your minds a little bit more about independent bottlers. I know a lot of you more experienced drinkers already know this, so perhaps this video is more for the people that don't have a lot of experience with the independent bottlers. Very different from our normal style of reviews that we do, and I'm going to focus not so much on the super high-end independent bottlers, more affordable ones, and we'll do a couple expensive ones as well.
Yeah.
All right?
Value.
Yeah, absolutely. So first, I'm gonna go through like a lot of different indie bottlings, not just like one company. So first off, here's a Chieftains, 15-year-old sherry Glentuckers. Okay, you can see it's got nice rich color. This is 15 years old, and it is bottled at, what's the strength on this guy? 46% ABV. There are 673 bottles of this, and this is bottled for a store in the United States, and it's actually still available at KL Wines if you guys are still looking for it, and it's $75. It's a solid sherried whiskey. You're getting that rich sherry experience at $75. So let's compare it to a sherry whiskey that's currently out there, like a Macallan 12. Now Macallan 12 is bumped up to like $60, $65. You're getting a better quality whiskey here for an additional $10 to $15 from an independent bottler, quite a bit better.
Yeah.
Okay? So if you want something as good as this from regular releases, you're going to have to spend a little bit more money. So a great example here from Chieftains.
Yeah. Great example.
All right, I'm going to put this away. I'm going to bring them out one at a time. Here's a Hunter Lang bottling. It's a 9-year-old Altmore. This is a sherry monster. If you guys have not had a chance to try Altmore whiskey, they have some really, really good examples of some rich, rich sherry. Really, really good quality. It really stands out. And here's a 9-year-old beast. This is bottled at 59.8% ABV. This was bottled in 2017. It's all gone now, but this was $50. Now this is an absolute monster. First filled rich, rich sherry experience. Yes, young, but very good quality for $50. So another great example of something you can get in that like 88 range of quality for $50.
Incredible value.
Absolutely. Really, really good value. Next, I'm going to show something from Signatory. And this is a 21-year-old Kleinlich. This particular one is selected for the Whiskey Exchange. I'm not sure if it's still available or not. And Signatory puts out some really, really good Kleinlich bottles. Some of their vintage ones, aging all the way up to like 25, even a little bit older. years old, and you could get this particular bottle was only $100. 21-year-old cask strength Kleinleish for $100. So, signatory example here. Here we have a bottle from Douglas Lane, a Craig Alecky. And the official bottles from Craig Alecky are really expensive. I believe the 23-year-old? I think it's a 23-year-old. It goes for like $300. This was like $120 for a 21-year-old. This is 21. Yeah, this is a 22-year-old cask strength refill sherried. Really, really solid whiskey. And another really, really great example of something you can get for under $150 with really, really good age.
Incredible.
Absolutely. This one's coming from Douglas Lane. Next, I'm gonna do a signatory vintage here. It's a Mortlock, 1998, 18 years old. So this was also around $100, maybe $120. I can't remember exactly. And that's what we're drinking right now. This is what's in our glass. An example of just a really, really nice whiskey, bottled at cask strength with good age for a very, very fair price. So again, definitely look out for some of these signatory vintage bottlings. They put out some really, really good stuff, so keep your eyes open for those.
Yeah, and this one was for the Whiskey Exchange.
Yeah, the Whiskey Exchange.
The Whiskey Exchange gets a lot of good independent bottlings.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
keep your eyes out often.
All right, next we have
Cadenhead,
another one amazing bottler.
Legendary.
This is a 28-year-old Highland Park. Look at the color on this thing.
Oh yeah, baby.
We purchased this a few years back. I can't remember if I'm not mistaken, I think it was $300. But again, $300 for a 28-year-old cask strength sherried Highland Park. So again, the value in comparison to the OB bottlings is just another level.
Yeah, Highland Park 25 or 30 OB now. Not
30,
cask strength.
Yeah, the 30 in the United States goes for $900 now. That's a very good whiskey, but it
Should it be 1,000?
Yeah, of course, 1,000 at a lot of places. So
yeah, it's value.
Another really, really good example.
Great value.
Here is a Springbank from the Boutique Whiskey Company.
Love Boutique.
And they put out some really, really good stuff, the Boutique Whiskey Company. This is a 21-year-old port-matured Springbank. Just stunning. We've actually done a review of this one.
Oh, incredible.
Incredible whiskey. When it originally came out, I can't remember, but it was probably around like $300. And that's not cheap, but it's just such good whiskey.
Quality is insane.
Now it's an auction buy. And I do, it's really, really good, but it's just an example of another independent bottler that puts out really, really, really good stuff.
Yeah, always keep your eyes peeled for that Boutique Whiskey Company. They're very, very good quality.
Next, I'm going to show you an epic bottle, and that's this Longmore by Gordon and MacPhail, 1964 vintage. Now, this would be an example of something truly special, something that is just an amazing whiskey, some of the best sherried stuff you could buy. It's an auction buy. It ranges between it's over 1,000 pounds, but it's a 48-year-old first filled sherried whiskey from Longmore, vintage 1964. You want something like that directly from Longmore, and it's going to cost you a fortune.
Today?
And even Gordon and MacPhail now is bottling these in fancy crystal decanters, selling them for a fortune.
Yeah.
So, an example of if you wanted to splurge on something incredible, but obviously, you can't go out and get a Longmore that's 50 years old direct. So an independent bottler like Gordon and MacPhail releases these. This was released in 2012, so this is absolutely an auction buy, but just an incredible whiskey that you could buy. And Gordon and MacPhail has a lot of these from Longmore, Glen Grant, even Macallan, Strathila, Mortlock. They have, a lot of them, a lot of really, really special ones. So definitely worth it. So that was about 8 bottles, I believe. of just kind of an example of whiskeys to buy. Now, the downside about independent bottlers is sometimes you might spend $100 or $200 and you might get a whiskey where you're like, this wasn't very good. That happens. That does happen sometimes. But if you do a little bit of online research and you ask around, you can make an educated guess. For example, when a vintage signatory Kleinlich comes out, for example, out of the 5 that I've tried, 4 of them were very good, and the other one wasn't bad. So now if a 6th one comes out, I'm gonna be like, you know what? It's an educated guess that I could go for it. So feel free to ask us if you're looking for something like, hey, have you heard anything? Have you tried this? Thinking about pulling the trigger, and we'll do our best to help you out. But just this point of this video is just be open-minded about independent bottlers.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's some really, really, really good value out there to be had. And we just wanted to bring whatever we had on hand. Honestly, we just brought out a few bottles that were directly on hand. We weren't trying to necessarily pick any specific ones, just ones that were fair value that we had on hand. And I would say 90% of the independent bottlers that I've purchased, I've been very happy with.
Absolutely.
And I can't say that about OB bottlings. It's not 90%. It's probably closer to 70%.
I was gonna say the same thing, like 70%.
Yeah. So the
and
value's there.
Almost all the independent bottlers really, really good.
Yeah, specifically Gordon MacPhail, and then you have Cadenhead and Signatory, some really, really good stuff.
Douglas Lang,
Chieftains.
Probably the top ones, Chieftains. Yeah.
All right, you guys. Let us know what you think. Let us know if you guys want to see more videos like this, kind of like not just doing the review, just kind of talking about whiskey in general. A lot of topics. We could do some top 5 videos for you guys if you want, like top 5 bang for the buck videos, top 5 whiskeys kind of under $500 or under $100 or things like that.
Yeah.
We've talked about doing some videos like that. Give us some suggestions on what you guys would like to see, and we'll kind of go from there, and we'll talk about the auction stuff, or how to look out for fakes, and just a lot of whiskey stuff, knowledge that we've gained over the years that we could share with you guys. So definitely let us know about that in the comments below.
For sure.
We'll see you guys soon.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.